We're at the restaurant and I'm totally changing my game, letting him do all the talking, or what there was of it, and basically just fawned over him all night. I leaned forward and felt a really sharp twinge, but I ignored it. Eventually, my side felt a little cold, and I noticed his sentences getting even slower and slower, amazingly enough, and him just looking very awkward. 15 minutes later, a server comes up to me saying,
"Don't forget to hit subscribe and smack that bell button to become an honorary Fear Raiser member so that you never miss a video." Before I get into the juicy details of this dating story, I thought I would quickly bring to your attention a dating app that my friends have been talking about that I wanted to try out myself right now, called Quiz Date Live. Basically, there's a live game show featuring a beautiful bachelorette looking for a date, and anybody that downloads the app can participate. You answer trivia questions about the bachelorette to get your chance at winning a Michelin-starred dinner or helicopter ride. What? With the bachelorette herself? That's right! If you've got all of it right, of course. Oh, looks like the gaming show's about to start. Let's take a little look, shall we?
Guys, I want you all to welcome Rose to Quiz Day Live. Rose, come on down because the price is always right on this program.
Hi, Josh.
Thank you for being our first participant of 2019.
You know, I'm a little nervous, but like you said, 2019, it's time to get the ball rolling and ready to start anew.
All right, you have 20 seconds on the clock to answer that right there.
Okay. So you answer multiple choice questions similar to HQ Trivia. Let's see here. Do you consider yourself a mature person? No, in fact, I'm actually a Zen child.
Rose is wise beyond her years when seeking a relationship.
Come on, is this what she wants in a man?
Rose wants a guy who's mature enough to let her know when something isn't working.
Oh, God! Well, it looks like I'm out, but I'm still curious to see who's gonna win this, so let's keep watching.
Straight to number 3. What is Rose's favorite food? Pop Rocks, halal food, pasta. The correct answer is pasta!
Now it looks like people are answering free text questions. Interesting. Wait. And the finalists are entering the stream now? Okay, I've never actually seen anything like this before. This is different. And I like it.
You are now entering the final stages of our game. Rose, are you nervous?
A little, but
A little.
We'll go.
Here we go.
And she's picking a winner now. Who's gonna win this?
So just to remind you, we have Zach, who's 23, from Virginia, Jonathan, who's 22, and Brian, who's 37.
Okay, I think that I'm gonna have to take my final bow with Jonathan.
Jonathan, you are the winner! Now, you're going on a luxury date with Rose. Congratulations. I'm going to be cheering you both on and throwing roses on the stage.
So guys, that is Quiz Date Live. If you want to try it yourself, be sure to download it. Link down in the description below. You know, dating is kind of like skipping rocks. Sometimes they skip smoothly, and sometimes they don't skip at all. I had a lot of dates that went down like that. Speaking of hitting rock bottom, guys, today I have a story for you that was written up by the username Monkey8 over on Reddit, who tells us of a tragic date night that took a turn for the worst. So you guys ready to get into it? Because I know I am. All right, let's get into the juicy details. Oh yeah!
Story by Mookie8. I had a comically cascading bad date once. It eventually got funny. Eventually. I was living in a smallish town where if you wanted to date, well, beggars couldn't be choosers. I was set up with this hockey bro who was pretty popular in town, but I couldn't exactly comprehend why. It was basically like talking to Ryan Lodge, and I wasn't any better. I had just read a really good book on the Vietnam War and raved about it chapter by chapter for the duration of our second date. Ugh, cringe. He could not have been any more bored. So yes, here we are. Two people who wanted things to work out, but we were so opposite, like oil and water. One night we drove into the city and I thought, tonight's that night. So I wore a bra that was massively uncomfortable, but pretty cute. We're at the restaurant and I'm totally changing my game, letting him do all the talking, or what there was of it, and basically just fawned over him all night. leaned forward and felt a really sharp twinge, but I ignored it. Eventually, my side felt a little cold, and I noticed his sentences getting even slower and slower, amazingly enough, and him just looking very awkward. 15 minutes later, a server comes up to me saying, "Oh my god, are you okay?" I look down and the right side of my blouse is seeping with blood. Hockey Bro had just watched in awkward silence for however long as the strips of blood formed around his date's ribcage, and he didn't say a word. The underwire of this freaking expensive bra snapped at such an angle that it pierced my skin, and it didn't hurt, but it bled like the dickens. I have no idea how much blood I bled, but it was a lot. It looked like I had been knifed. I kept laughing it off and was making jokes, desperately hoping that someone would laugh along. Nope, just horrified, awkward stares. I had to take the underwire out in the bathroom, so I exited the restaurant with clumps of bloody paper towels and 2 very differently supported boobs. Man, I'm a keeper. Hockey Bro drives me to the medical center, says he's parking the car, and never comes back. Seriously, he abandoned me in a different city, 11 p.m. at night. He later said he would come back to find me not in the waiting room, but I don't believe that, buddy. So a few hours later, I'm bandaged up after a 1 whopping stitch and didn't own a cell phone, so I'm sitting in the waiting room by a payphone, flipping through the white pages, wondering who on earth I'm gonna call. Still, also, in my bloody shirt with injured people giving me a weird spaced out side glance. This guy offers to let me use Google Maps on his smartphone. I had one friend in the city and I knew where she lived from visiting before, but I didn't know her number offhand, so I was hoping she'd just let me crash at her place for the night. I write down the Google Maps route and I run to catch the last bus of the evening. I catch it, fortunately. Thank God I had to change that night, I never do. And I got off at the right stop and walked the rest of the way. It's in the suburbs on the edge of the city, so I'm walking and walking. All the streets look safe, but then streetlights appear less and less and less, and suddenly I'm at the edge of the urbanized city. What I didn't know beforehand was that Google Maps will use trails and pathways and all of nature's little shortcuts as a route option. So here I am at like 1 a.m. walking through this pitch black hiking trail through the woods, and we're talking about a relatively underdeveloped part of Canada with the moon, stars, and surprisingly white plain contrails for lights. And I'm hyperventilating, thinking, this is how women get murdered, this is how women get murdered. I had a pin out for protection and using my other hand to cut my boob because it hurts so much because it's not supported. I have never in my life been more alert and tense until that walk. I see some lights in the distance, and that's when I notice all the jackrabbits. There are tons and tons of jackrabbits, and I immediately get 10 times more nervous because when there's jackrabbits, there's coyotes. And right when I thought, coyote, I hear a whine. About 15 feet away from me in the brush. I knew that there were houses under the hills, and that whine sure sounded right there. And it was so comical. The timing was movie perfect. I immediately sprint like a bat out of hell towards those lights. And I'm no runner, so my wee little heart is just giving her. I broke through the trees, and up ahead amid the darkened auto shop buildings and industrial factories was the beaming glow of a 24-hour Tim Hortons. And then it was funny. All of it, like the whole night, was just hysterical to me. I stumbled inside and the poor cashiers just blinked at me. It looked like I'd been assaulted and left for dead. I straightened out myself and told my story, and we all had a pretty good laugh. I ended up staying there most of the night, sipping a hot chocolate, totally unwilling to go outside again. And one of the girls hung out with me on her break, and we got a little chummy, both being the same age and both sort of depressed about our lives, feeling apathetic for our futures. And in the morning, she and her mom drove me all the way back to my town. Never trust hockey bros. Learn from me.
Look at these people looking at me. They know who I am. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Hello?
They're haters, whatever. Moki, my goodness. That was a crazy story. I mean, like, there are a lot of crazy dating stories out there, but that was like an intriguing, adventurous, cinematic, very cinematic story. And I have to say, I'm glad you're okay, but man, oh my God. So you you get ditched by your date, you get cut, you go to the hospital, your date, well, I guess that was when your date ditched you. You go out into the woods, coyotes, and you make it to Tim Hortons. A very classic Canadian story. Very happy to hear about that. Well, either way, Moki, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. And guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more great content. And if you have a great, juicy story, like Mark says, my man, make it juicy. You know how it goes. You got to make that story juicy. Submit it to the subreddit Razorverse page. The link is down in the description below. And who knows? We might be reacting to your story next. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you in the next video. Now, we will fade off into the distance as the sun sets into this cotton candy sky. Over here, Mark. Cotton candy skies that way. Enjoy. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I also want to quickly thank Quiz Date Live for making this video possible. If you want to try Quiz Date Live and get your chance at a luxury date with the beautiful bachelorette, be sure to download it. Link down in the description below.